I'm smelling something. I'm smelling something. It's right there. It's right there. I told you they be lying.
UnitedComicsUniverse.
A universe for fans.
From pages to pictures, we are comics.
Hello, United Comics Universe. Your dog JoninSho back at you with another hot one news. This is another hot one for fans by fans. Another hot one for you, to you. At your door, at your feet, delivered to ya. Sit back and relax and enjoy. This one's coming at us from Screen Rant, screenrant.com. That's screenrant.com. And I told you, Kevin Feige and the crew be lying to us. Yeah. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. And now it's starting to come up. Yeah, okay. Hey, you gotta point it out. Alright, it goes like this. WandaVision's ending Retcon proves Kevin Feige's MCU lie. You mean this one? Anyway. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness retcon WandaVision's post-credit scene and proves Kevin Feige is lying about the master plan, quote unquote, by Thomas Bacon. It's published about 7 hours ago. So this one is absolutely on fire because it's fresh. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness transforms Scarlet Witch into a villain, retconning Wanda's post-credit scene and proving Kevin Feige's claim about an MCU master plan is exaggerated. Wanda Maximoff's heel turn in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is undoubtedly one of the most dramatic twists in the MCU's ongoing narrative to date. The Avenger defended by Stephen Rogers, triggered of the Sokovia Accords and the superhero Civil War, launched a rampage across the multiverse. There's always been an obvious link between Scarlet Witch's powers and her emotional state. Quicksilver's death, promptly a particularly destructive energy blast in Avengers Age of Ultron, while her grief and rage made her the one Avenger to almost defeat Thanos in Avengers Endgame. But Phase 4 has taken this one step further, with grief and loss essentially become both Wanda's own greatest enemy and the key to unlocking her power. In Marvel WandaVision on Disney+, her heartache and pain unlock the power of chaos magic, allowing Scarlet Witch to rewrite reality around the town of Westview in an attempt to create her own personal happily ever after. This taste of happiness tragically broke Wanda with Darkhold's baleful influence. Not only that, that is her being exposed to the fact that she's that powerful. She's probably a little power drunk and need to calm her ass down, girl. At first glance, then, there seems to be a narrative through line between WandaVision and Doctor Strange too. Unfortunately, on closer examination, there's actually a clear discontinuity on the most basic level. WandaVision treats Scarlet Witch as a hero who has been broken by trauma and is struggling to piece herself back together, while Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness views her as an uncompromising villain whose idea of being reasonable is sending monsters and demons to hunt a teenager across the multiverse. In theory, this is explained through the idea Wanda has been corrupted by the Darkhold, but the transition is still quite jarring. It also fundamentally changes a central claim to the MCU, that everything is always planned out years in advance. I told y'all. I ain't one to gossip, but you heard that from me. The MCU is built on the idea of Kevin Feige's master plan. The MCU is built on the idea of Kevin Feige's master plan, that everything is intimately connected and films are planned out years, even decades in advance. It's easy to see how the idea has taken hold. Iron Man's post-credits scene, unarguably the beginning of the setup of the Avengers after all, and the Avengers post-credits scene set up Thanos and the main villain of phases 1 through 3. And in 2014, Marvel Studios announced their entire phase 3 slate running all the way up until 2019. While there's nothing new to studios making announcements that run 5 years ahead, in this case, there was a remarkably clear sense of direction, or so we thought. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has encouraged the idea that there's always a plan in the works, which is great to hear when he does that. That's great. Make you feel like, you're in good hands. Hopefully he can keep up with that. Keep up with that legacy. You know what I mean? Don't let us down. You can do it. You can do it. If you can't, find somebody who else can to be the heir of your legacy, my friend. He claims Masterplan runs over a decade, meaning the studio's decision makers are discussing ideas that won't come to pass until 2032. The idea of a master plan has actually become a major part of the Marvel's marketing. It sure has. It sure is. Because viewers are encouraged to consume every piece of content as part of a single ongoing narrative, which they completely destroyed by not getting along with the TV side of Marvel, because there was so much they could have captivated on. It's supposed to have been all together and happened all at once, if you know what I mean. One universe. It's supposed to have been all connected, as they said. But they very much disappointed us on that because they couldn't get their own issues together inside the companies. But anyway, rolling it back, the idea of a master plan has actually become a major part of Marvel's marketing because viewers are encouraged to consume every piece of content as part of a single ongoing narrative. A story that's headed in a specific direction that they are encouraged to try to figure out. This is even more important in Phase 4, where the MCU is trying to morph into a true transmedia franchise, where both of the films and Disney Plus TV shows are equally important to the franchise's story. Should have been that way the whole time. That's what we thought we were doing to begin with. Okay. The close connections between WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness are really something of an acid test for the claim that it's all connected. Remember, I'm reading this article with you. It's just like fresh reactions because yeah, I didn't know it was going to say that, and that's great because it's exactly what I said. It's all connected and everything matters, right? That's what we thought, right? How Doctor Strange 2 retcons WandaVision. WandaVision's post-credit scene is the clearest setup for Doctor Strange 2. Indeed it was. But unfortunately, there are clear points of conflict. Okay. The most notable is the fact that WandaVision shows Scarlet Witch in a remote mountain location, relaxing in a cabin while her astral self reads the Darkhold. We all saw that wildness, but when Doctor Strange visits her in Doctor Strange 2, opening scene, Wanda is in a completely different location, one she has clearly devastated with her chaos magic, with the destruction concealed due to another hex. What's more, although Wanda may have been reading the Darkhold in WandaVision's post-credits, there's no visible sign of its corruption influence. There are none of the black stains spreading across her costume. Good point. Don't think I thought about that. The problems are compounded when Scarlet Witch heads to Mount Wundagore. Wundagore. Okay. Mount Wundagore. They wound in the gore. Anyway, according to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the Darkhold was copied from the walls of Mount Wundagore. Wundagore. Goodness gracious. When Wanda enters one chamber, she sees a statue of herself as Scarlet Witch, almost perfectly corresponding with pages of the Darkhold seen in WandaVision. There's a notable difference though. Wanda's children are featured among the statues and Mount Wundagore as well, but aren't there on the relevant page of the Darkhold. These small details may seem minor, but they are significant in shared universe that markets itself on a long-term detail plan, indeed. Because when you do that, everybody's going to be, paying attention and see if you're actually doing that, because everybody wants it so bad that it seems like a fantastic thing. No pun intended, a fantastic thing, yeah. They glue viewers in that it's worth questioning the plan and looking for further discontinuities. That's right. In truth, there is a profound difference between how WandaVision and Doctor Strange treat Scarlet Witch. WandaVision saw itself as the origin story of Scarlet Witch, but it clearly imagined her to be a hero because she had worked through her trauma and grief. It was extremely important to me that we not do the lazy thing of having a superpower lady who can't handle her powers and goes crazy, WandaVision showrunner Jack Schaefer told Games Radar. Doctor Strange 2 turned this upside down, revealing Wanda had not even begun to process her trauma and is basically told the story Schaefer criticizes as lazy. Sam Raimi and Michael Waldron forced Doctor Strange 2 direction change. All this clearly signposts a major change in Marvel's plan for Scarlet Witch, and it's actually possible to figure out when it happened. Marvel originally intended to begin production in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in early 2020, but in January of that year, both director Scott Derrickson and writer C. Robert Cargill left due to unspecified creative differences. Surprisingly, speaking to Cinema Blend over a year later, Cargill revealed there was never a full draft of his script. He had apparently only written a few pages outlining where he wanted the story to go, and these had only been shown to Derrickson. Clearly, pre-production of Doctor Strange 2 had stalled long before Derrickson and Cargill left. They were subsequently replaced by Sam Raimi and Michael Waldron, who worked on the new script. Good job calling them out, screen, right? There are abundant signs of a change in the direction at this point. The most telling is the fact that Rachel McAdams was not originally expected to join the cast of Doctor Strange during Derrickson's time as director, but Strange's unrequited love for her character became a major arc in the final theatrical cut. Most striking of all is recent interview with Variety. Elizabeth Olsen revealed she only found out she was becoming a villain while WandaVision was still in production, possibly as late as October or November 2020. I thought I was going to be like in an ensemble thing, she admitted. So first, I think I was nervous and conflicted because I hadn't finished WandaVision yet, but we were almost finished. If Marvel had really been intending Wanda to become a villain all along, then the cast and production team of WandaVision would surely have been in the loop. What do you think? Yeah, sounds right to me. It's definitely a obvious switch that was pretended to be like, as planned, but yeah, that can't be right. Doctor Strange 2 proves Kevin Feige's MCU lie. Scarlet Witch's direction proves Marvel MCU Masterplan isn't as solid as Kevin Feige likes to claim. Not even close. The studio likely has an overarching sense of direction, but there's a degree of flexibility built into it. At least the guy is trying to do that. Most people, I don't think anybody ever succeeded at doing it properly that I'm aware of, that I can think of. But with Marvel capable of course corrections based on audience reactions. That's kind of dope though, to be able to change the course of where it's going based on audience reactions. Are they really doing that though? I don't see any signs of it. But, let me know down below an instance that you noticed that seems to show that they're changing things based on audience reactions, because I hear them talk about it, but I never really see them do it. So maybe they'll start being about it now they got caught. Or simply because new ideas come up. Okay, that's okay too. Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't part of the original Phase 3 slate, but was incorporated into it because Marvel was happy with Ant-Man's performance and saw the need for exploring Quantum Realm in greater detail as they locked in on the plot of Avengers Endgame. Speaking at the Sands International Film Festival of St. Andrews in Scotland, Joe Russo,
Macho Man, Russo brothers, how do you guys not have any Nova Corps member in a fight against Thanos? Love the movie, but just boggles my mind. Didn't even have to be Richard Rider. I look closely at that scene again, and you will see.
There are thousands of people.
Yeah, you will see Richard Rider in the background of a shot. Easter egg.
One of Marvel's highest profile directors in Phase 2 and 3, actually discussed Marvel's loose, flexible planning as a secret to their success. Part of Kevin Feige's brilliance is that there isn't really a plan. He explained there's an idea, but you can have a plan if the movie you're making tanks, and there was hopes. Oh, we hope one day that we can get to the story. If we keep doing this right, maybe we could all get there, like Infinity War and Endgame. But a lot of stuff was made up in between the movies. Well, we see what he's trying to do, and he's kind of successfully done it. But don't act like there's no issues, not that you won't screw up. You know what I'm saying? And like everything went according to plan. Don't act like that when it ain't like that, because we with you. We with you. You ain't got to worry about us flipping out on you. At least you shouldn't. The people doing that, ignore them. We with you. Just let us know what you're doing. We don't mind. You ain't gotta give us the details. Just let us know. Keep it real. You know what I'm saying? This is the true approach that served Marvel as well in Phases 1 through 3, and it's clearly the approach they're sticking with in Phase 4. Are MCU retcons a problem? All this naturally raises the simple question of whether MCU retcons and changes of plan are a problem. There's actually good reason to be glad the MCU doesn't operate to some fixed and inflexible master plan with directors and actors simply performing according to Kevin Feige's vision. Such an approach would be singularly lacking in creativity. I agree with that. What do you think down below? Let us know. Curious. It would lead to an MCU where everything was the same in tone and style, while writers and directors had no freedom, where ideas were quashed because however good they may be in the short term, they didn't fit with something else planned to happen in 2 years' time. The benefit of the Marvel Studios approach is perfectly demonstrated in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, okay, which bears all the hallmarks of Sam Raimi just as much as it does the MCU. Okay, with that point, yeah, definitely. The issue, however, is that the MCU is effectively being missold. Viewers are being encouraged to view the MCU as one overarching narrative headed towards a set destination, when in reality it is in flux. Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you're going to say certain things, you got to say other certain things. You know, got to give people the whole structure of what's happening and what you're doing, and you won't have this problem in the future. And don't, and stick with it. Make sure that's known every time you're trying to make it known. At times, this leads to clear discontinuities, as in the case of Scarlet Witch, where character arc doesn't run consistently from WandaVision to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I really wish it would have, but okay. Occasionally, it even leads to mistakes. It's hard not to see Wanda's final direction as something of a disappointment, a waste of her potential. After the audience reaction to her in WandaVision, Marvel needs to start being honest about their modus operandi, freeing audiences up to discuss the MCU as it really is, not as it pretends to be. Very good point. Well done, Screen Rant. My goodness. I agree with that. One other thing I'd like to mention, we have a lit up about Kevin Feige where we discuss something that has something to do with Doctor Strange 1 and Doctor Strange WandaVision. Yeah, WandaVision's, journey toward Doctor Strange 2, because Kevin Feige also said that he modified WandaVision because he didn't want a white man saving the day.
Cancel me? Just by being what?
Or something of totally and absolutely ridiculous that should have nothing to do with anything you're writing or doing. That's not a valid, just don't put politics in our Marvel films. Cut the nonsense, please. That is just stupid, because that shouldn't have anything to do with what we come to see. Leave that stuff out, but we get enough of that. You know what I'm saying? But don't forget to hit that like button, that rumble button, and subscribe if you haven't to yet. If you're new, welcome. We appreciate you. Thank you. And shares, because we need to get out there. We're going through a lot of hurdles with censorship and shadow banning. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know. A lot of people know now because it happened to more and more people. But this has been your latest Hot One News, baby. Hot One News. And check us out on Facebook at your UnitedComicsUniverse group page, baby. Jump in and join the conversation. But until then, I will catch you again. And remember, we are comics.
Copyright disclaimer. Citation of articles and authors in this report does not imply ownership. Works and images presented here fall under Fair Use Section 107 and are used for commentary on globally significant newsworthy events. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Community Guidelines Disclaimer. The points of view and purpose of this video is not to bully or harass anyone, but rather share that opinion and thoughts with other like-minded individuals curious about the subject.